We're going to look at how relying on the divine actually offers a really structured, clear pathway right through the middle of hardship. So let's get into it.
Okay, so the source material kicks things off with one single, incredibly poignant question. Struggling? I mean, let's just pause and let that resonate for a second. It's the ultimate universal human experience, right? What I love here is that instead of jumping straight into some complex, high-level theology, this perspective meets us exactly where we live. It acknowledges those heavy, intimate, and let's be honest, totally exhausting feelings of hardship that literally every single one of us faces at some point. It validates that immediate reality of our pain before it ever asks us to shift our worldview.
And right when you're in the thick of it, when everything feels like too much, you're offered this incredibly gentle, simple directive. Remember this. It's basically an invitation to just hit the brakes on your anxiety for a split second. It's asking us to pause, take a breath, and get our minds ready to hold on to a profound, totally paradigm-shifting perspective. It frames what we're about to learn as a solid, unbreakable anchor for a struggling mind.
Because here is the core premise, the absolute bedrock of the whole text. Whatever Allah decrees for you is always good. That is the foundational anchor right there. It makes this massive assertion that the divine decree, basically the overarching plan and the whole sequence of events in your life, is inherently universally positive. From a theological standpoint, this is meant to bring just an immense amount of comfort to a heavy heart. It's telling you that nothing is random, and even more importantly, absolutely nothing is sent your way with malice. The entire architecture of your life, according to this worldview, is built on ultimate goodness.
Now, this brings up a really relatable human conflict, doesn't it? It's that massive friction between our immediate, visceral feeling that a situation is just terribly difficult versus this ultimate reality that it is in fact always good. And man, we feel that friction. We feel the pain and the sheer difficulty of the moment. The text isn't denying that your struggle feels incredibly hard, but it is asking you to do something amazing. It asks you to separate your immediate emotional reaction from the objective, divine reality of goodness. It is a huge mental shift. It requires a really profound level of trust.
But again, it never denies your reality. It states it so plainly. No matter how hard life gets, your pain, it's completely validated. The obstacles are incredibly high. It doesn't brush off human suffering as if it's just some illusion. It fully acknowledges that life gets unbearably hard sometimes. And that acknowledgement acts as this crucial, empathetic bridge. It's saying, yes, the struggle is 100% real, and then uses that validation as a launching pad to introduce a much broader, cosmic perspective. It zooms out to help you carry the weight of it all.
And here is where we zoom way, way out to the macro scale. The text reminds us that to Allah belongs everything in the heavens and the earth. Just think about the sheer scale of that statement for a second. The text is literally asking you to take your immediate personal earthly problems and contextualize them against the staggering vastness of the entire cosmos and the Creator who owns every single atom of it. When you realize that the divine entity guiding your specific life also possesses and controls literally everything in existence, wow, suddenly your localized struggles are placed in a very different, much more manageable light. You are not fighting the universe all by yourself.
So what's the takeaway from that? Well, the crucial point is this. Once you actually grasp that cosmic scale, the action you need to take becomes deeply, intensely personal. The source advises us to set things right between you and Allah. We're shifting from the vastness of the heavens straight back into your own internal state. The argument here is that the true solution to your worldly struggles isn't found in frantically trying to control your external circumstances or micromanaging the people around you. Nope. Instead, it's all about repairing and aligning your direct relationship with the divine. By making that spiritual alignment your absolute top priority, you put yourself in the perfect position to actually receive and understand that divine decree.
And just look at the profound relief promised right after that. He will suffice you. You won't need to rely on anyone else. Let's actually unpack that word suffice, because it is incredibly powerful. It literally means to be enough. The text is pointing out that true reliance on the divine entirely eliminates our exhausting, endless human tendency to depend on flawed worldly sources. You know how it is. When we struggle, we usually look to people or money or our own status to come save us. But this perspective teaches that if you establish that primary relationship with the divine, you've tapped into the ultimate, self-sufficient source. You are completely 100% covered.
Now, what's so cool is how these concepts are anchored directly in foundational scripture.
The source quotes chapter 65, verse 3 of the Qur'an, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then he is sufficient for him." This right here, this is really the climax of our explainer today. It is the definitive scriptural backing for the concept of tawakkul, which is this deeply rooted Islamic concept of absolute reliance on God. This single verse perfectly, beautifully encapsulates everything we've been talking about. It's a promise that the very act of reliance itself is the absolute key to achieving ultimate sufficiency and unbreakable peace. So let's look at how this builds into practical everyday application. Taking the theory into the real world. The source material distills all this deep theology into 3 highly actionable takeaways. Number 1, trust Him. Number 2, fix your heart. And number 3, let go of worry. These 3 sequential steps are basically a practical roadmap for internalizing this whole philosophy of reliance. First, you establish that baseline intellectual and spiritual trust. Second, you roll up your sleeves and do the internal work to align your heart and your intentions. And finally, the resulting action, or actually scratch that, the resulting peace, is the conscious, deliberate release of your worldly anxieties. It's just a beautiful, clearly structured path from belief straight to pure tranquility.
Which brings us to a final, really thought-provoking question posed by the source material's call to action. Are you ready to let go of worry and trust the decree? This isn't just a simple throwaway prompt. It's a profound final thought for you to sit with and deeply reflect on today. After seeing the clear contrast between our limited human perception of difficulty and the vast, benevolent nature of the divine decree, where do you actually stand? Are you ready to finally stop carrying the unbearable weight of the world completely on your own shoulders? It really challenges you to actively apply this calming, structured perspective to whatever specific struggle you might be facing right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, guys. I truly hope this perspective brings a renewed sense of clarity, structure, and most importantly, peace to your day.